Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiraye nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhāgavata-sevayā bhagavati uttama-shloke bhaktir bhavati nashtaki durlabhamanasha deho dehinam shanabhangure tatrapi durlabham manye vaikuntha priya darshanaha Gurve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Jai Śrī Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Advaita Acharya Nityananda Srinivasa Gadadhara Damodara Murari Haridasa Arayata Chaitanya Krishnera Bhakta Gana Bhakti Bhave Shirodhari Sabara Charanam Hare Kṛṣṇa Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vasudeva Katha Prashnaha Purusham Strin Punatihi Vaktaram Pritchakam Shrotram Statpada Salilam Yatha. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much for taking out your time to join this wonderful reading of Canto 10, Chapter 1, Srimad-Bhāgavatam, entitled The Advent of Lord Śrī Krishna. So, in the last reading, that was yesterday, we read till text number 19. So we completed text 19. Mother Earth, burdened by the godless heads of the state, has approached Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma, along with the others, approached Lord Vishnu at the ocean of milk. Let's see what happens further. Tatra gatva jagannatham deva devam vrishakapim Purusham Spurusha Suktena Upasthate Samahitaha. Translation and purport by Sivandri Sisi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. After reaching the shore of the ocean of milk, the demigods worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, the Master of the whole universe, the Supreme God of all gods, who provides for everyone and diminishes everyone's suffering. With great attention, they worship Lord Vishnu, who lies on the ocean of milk, by reciting the Vedic mantras known as Purusha Sukta. Purport: the demigods such as Lord Brahma, Shiva, Lord Indra, Chandra, and Surya are all subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Aside from the demigods, even in the human society, there are many influential personalities supervising various businesses or establishments. Lord Vishnu, however, is the God of gods, Param Ishvara. He is the Parama Purusha, the Supreme Being, Param Atma, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 5.1. Ishvaraha Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. Krishna, known as Govinda, is the Supreme Controller. He is an eternal, blissful spiritual body. No one is equal to or greater than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore he is described here by many words: Jagannatha, Devadeva, Vrishakapi, and Purusha. The supremacy of Lord Vishnu is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 10.12 in the statement by Arjuna. Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum. You are the Supreme Brahman, the ultimate, the supreme abode and purifier, the absolute truth and the eternal divine person. You are the primal God, transcendental and original. You are the unborn, the all-pervading beauty. Krishna is Adi Purusha, the original personality of Godhead. Govindamadi Purusham Tama Aham Bhajami. Vishnu is a plenary expansion of Lord Krishna, and all the Vishnu Tattvas are Parameshwara, Deva, Deva. Hare Kṛṣṇa. So, they means all the demigods, including Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Lord Chandra, Indra, and many more. They all began to chant prayers. To whom? To Lord Vishnu. So, picture also in this regard, which I want to share with everyone. Many of you may have seen this picture. It's a very, very common picture. I'm going to share now. Yes. So here we see Lord Vishnu, the ocean of milk, Shweta Dvipa, and Lord Shiva here, who else is there? There are multiple demigods here. Indra, Chandra, Surya, they're all offering their pranams to the Supreme Lord. So there may be, Prabhupada is mentioning, there may be many influential people, like business tycoons and heads of the state, or prime minister, prime president, etc. But the Supreme Lord is the God of all gods, Jagannatha. The word used is Jagannatha. Deva Deva, the Deva of all the Devas. Purusha Shuktena. This Purusha Shukta prayers, they began to recite. So Purusha Shukta prayers are these prayers are quite deep. Basically glorifying the Supreme Lord. There are multiple verses. Maybe one day we can read that prayer. There are 23 verses. But in short, the demigods began to recite this Purusha Shukta prayers, which is sung in the Vedic yagyas, etc. These are part of the Vedic mantras from the Rig Veda. And multiple other Puranas also, this prayer comes. Okay, so any other comments on this particular text?
So Prabhuji, like in this world, there are mostly demigod worshippers if you see around. So here also you see that Mother Earth, rather than going directly to the Lord, went to the Brahma and other personalities and then approached Lord Vishnu. And also we see in that Vivasha Muni also, before going to Lord Vishnu, going to different demigods, and at last going to the Lord Vishnu. So that is the reason that we all go to the demigods first before coming to Krishna.
So it's not that the two examples you mentioned, yes, they went to demigods, But the mood was in the how we approach demigods is also a big science, right? One can go to them as for material desires for different reasons. But if you have to see other examples also, like Dhruva, Prahlad, they like Prahlad, of course, was like a pure devotee, but Dhruva, even for material desires, he went to Lord Vishnu. That's what his mother told him. So we'll find examples of all types, right? So we'll find examples in scriptures, but ultimately, what is the essence? So some people, yes, they may approach demigods and then they may come to Krishna consciousness. On the other hand, some people may have no idea. Like, for example, in the West, they don't know anything about the demigods and all that, right? So, but they take to the pure Krishna consciousness message, right? There are so many devotees. So ultimately, the goal is to serve the Supreme Lord. And we may have gone through different processes in the past, in this life or that life. Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavana Jiva Guru Krishna Prasada Paya. Another, this one's Vasudevas Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samatma Sudurlabha.
Bhumanam Janmanante.
Onam Janmanamanti Gyanvan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samatma, right? So that devotee is very, very rare who comes to this understanding that the Supreme Lord is Vasudeva. So again, we don't know what some we may see in this lifetime, some we may see in the past lifetime. They may have gone through demigod, they may have gone through the impersonal aspect of understanding. They may have gone through different processes, jnana, tapa, etc., etc. But coming to the topmost process of bhakti yoga is certainly very, very rare, and very rare souls come. So it's hard to say what exact process one has been through, but ultimately what matters is where they are and where they are going.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, thank you, Prabhu. Very nice. Any other thoughts or any additions anyone has in that particular text? Okay, Nimataji, you want to read?
Prabhu Danda Pranam. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Text 21. Giram samadho gagane samiritam nishamya vedhastri dashanuvachaha gam paurushim me shrunutamaraha punar vidhiyata mashu tatheva machiram. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. While in trance, Lord Brahma heard the words of Lord Vishnu vibrating in the sky. Thus he told the demigods, O demigods, hear from me the order of Kshirodakshai Vishnu, the Supreme Person, and execute it attentively without delay. It appears that the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be heard in trance by competent persons. Modern science gives us telephones by which one can hear sound vibrations from a distant place. Similarly, although other persons cannot hear the words of Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma is able to hear the Lord's words within himself. This is confirmed in the beginning of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 1.1.1. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye. Adikavi is Lord Brahma. In the beginning of the creation, Lord Brahma received the instructions of Vedic knowledge from Lord Vishnu through the medium of the heart, Hridha. The same principle is confirmed herewith. While Brahma was in trance, he was able to hear the words of Kshirodakshai Vishnu, and he carried the Lord's message to the demigods. Similarly, in the beginning, Brahma first received the Vedic knowledge from the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the core of the heart. In both instances, the same process was used in transmitting the message to Lord Brahma. In other words, although Lord Vishnu was invisible even to Lord Brahma could hear Lord Vishnu's words through the heart. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is invisible even to Lord Brahma. Yet, he descends to this earth and becomes visible to people in general. This is certainly an act of his causeless mercy. But fools and non-devotees think that Krishna is an ordinary, historical person. Because they think that the Lord is an ordinary person like them, they are described as mudha. Avajananti ma mudha. The causeless mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is neglected by such demoniac persons who cannot understand the instructions of Bhagavad Gita and who therefore misinterpret them. Wow, so how the transmission of the sound is taking place not through cell phones but through the heart is explained here. And Lord is not an ordinary person. If you think Lord is ordinary, then you're mudhas, you're the most foolish people and or demoniac persons. That's it, Prabhuji. I think you can add more. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Really very nice verse. Prabhupada is mentioning so nicely that the words of the Supreme Lord can be heard by competent person. Very first line. So Krishna is present in everyone's heart, isn't it? Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. He's present in everyone's heart, but his words are heard only by those who are tuned to receive. For example, even in the material world, there is like FM waves and AM waves. But if our transistor is not properly tuned to receive that signal, we will not be able to hear even material sound, what to speak of spiritual, transcendental words of the Supreme Lord. So basically, the whole Krishna consciousness movement is to tune ourselves to hear, to receive that divine message of the Supreme Lord. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, those who are engaged in the bhakti, in the process of bhakti, tesham satadayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Those who are constantly devoted, satadayuktana bhajatam priti purvakam, rendering bhakti with love, with devotion, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So he gives the understanding. He gives the right words. He gives the right intelligence. He gives the right knowledge, forgetfulness, etc. So here Lord Brahma was tuned to receive that signal. So I think we can also ask, how much am I tuned to receive the signal of the Supreme Lord? How much am I tuned to receive the signal? And the whole life is basically to adjust our consciousness, to tune to receive the signal of Guru, of Krishna. And the more we do, the more our lives will be perfect. The more we will be refined in our thoughts, words, character, mind, everything. Lord Brahma could receive that signal. So he was tuned. So we can take this great lesson. And then he shared. So the spiritual master, the pure devotee, is receiving that signal, and then he is sharing with others, right? Like so many times Prabhupada would share this example that these are not my purports. I didn't write this. This is Supreme Lord Krishna has himself written it, right? Now, how come Krishna has written it? Because he is tuned to receive that signal. A pure devotee, like Srila Prabhupada, when the kings of Jaipur were rejecting, so the Govinda Bhashya was written by Baladev Vidyabhushan. The Supreme Lord came to direct himself personally. In one day, he wrote the whole commentary, Govinda Bhashya. So why? Because again, he was tuned. The other day, we were talking about Kanchipurna, how he could converse with the Supreme Lord because he was tuned. So to receive, the competent people can see Premanja Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. Those whose eyes are anointed with love of God, they see the Supreme Lord, his hand in every direction, in every aspect of life. Again, why? Because they are tuned, because they are rendering pure, loving, devotional service. So, Lord Brahma heard this from Shirodakshai Vishnu, and then he relayed that message as it is to the others. Any other comments, additions? As okay, we didn't get chance yesterday. Can read. Yes.
Devotees, Dhamma Pranam, always Srila Prabhupada, text 22. Puroivo Pumsha Bhatrato Dhara Jaro Bhavodhir Amshar Yadushu Pajantam Sha Yabhad Gulbhaya Baram Ishwareshwara Shakalo Shakta Shapayams Charit Bhubi. Translation purport by His Divine Grace is Bhakti Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Lord Brahma informed the demigods, before we submitted our petition to the Lord, he was already aware of the distress on earth. Consequently, for as long as the Lord moves on earth to diminish his burden by his own potency in the form of time, all of you demigods should appear through planet portions as sons and grandsons in the family of Dodul. Purport, as stated in Brahma Samhita 539, Ramadi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Tishthan Nana Bhatram Akrado Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Shayam Shambhabhato Parama Uman Iyo Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the Supreme Person of Godhead, Govinda, who is always situated in various incarnations such as Ram, Nrsimha, and many sub-incarnations as well. But who is the origin personality of Godhead known as Krishna, and who incarnates personally also. In this verse from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, we find the words Puroibho, Pumsha, Bhatrato, Dhara, Charo. The word Pumsha refers to Krishna, who was already aware of how the whole world was suffering because of increase of demons. Without reference to the supreme power of the personality of Godhead, demons assert themselves to be independent kings and presidents, and thus they create a disturbance by increasing their military power. When such disturbances are very prominent, Krishna appears. At present also, various demoniac states all over the world are increasing their military power in many ways, and the whole situation has become distressful. Therefore, Krishna has appeared by his name in the Hare Kṛṣṇa movement, which will certainly diminish the burden of the world. Philosophers, religionists, and people in general must take to this movement very seriously, for man-made plans and devices will not help bring peace on earth. The transcendental sound Hare Kṛṣṇa is not different from the person Krishna. Namo Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta Vimmatma Namo Namino Padma Puran. There is no difference between the sound Hare Krishna and the Krishna of the person. Very nice translation purport. So actually Lord is seated in all our in all living entities as Paramatma. So what we are going through, Lord already knows. He's already aware of the situation, and definitely he'll respond to his devotees. And he's always seated in our in every living entities and knows what's going on. And Krishna's, the Lord himself comes with as a human form to destroy the undesert demons and save the devotees. So, but in this Kali Yuga, where already we see so much deterioration in our day life and the worldly matters, but Prabhupada, by his by his mercy, he gave us a Hare Krishna movement where he chant the Lord on who's none other than, and the chanting itself is the Lord himself. So to bring peace in this earth. And we see the devotees how they are happy even in this situation. So Lord always protect his devotees. Name Bhakta Panashyati. Back to Prabhuji.
Hey, Bol, thank you so much for reading this beautiful verse, glorifying the holy name, glorifying that how the Lord is all omniscient. He completely knows the situation, and he is constantly meditating to help us. So therefore, especially in the Kali Yuga, which is the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, which is the age of dark age, in the dark age came the golden incarnation to make the golden period of the dark age, the first 10,000 years, which is going on, is this wonderful time where the Lord personally came, just like seconds before. From the Brahma's day, it's like 500 years, just like a few seconds, to give this Nama Chintamani Krishna, this beautiful Chintamani jewel of holy names. So all we have to do is to take it. So take it, and it will reduce the burden of the earth, as Prabhupada is mentioning. The holy name has appeared in the Hare Krishna movement, which will certainly diminish the burden of the world. So therefore, devotees, do street sankirtan, sharing the holy name, sharing books, sharing prasadam. These are all transcendental things. They are not just ordinary sound. So we must try our best if we really are interested to help Mother Earth to reduce their burden, as we discussed the other day also, just by so-called using paper bags, plastic bags. That's very superficial level, which is fine. We're not against that. We must, but the real way is this: to reduce the burden of earth, to become Krishna conscious, and to help others become Krishna conscious. In his grace, Visheshika Prabhu says, chant Hare Krishna and teach others. As Prabhupada says, become a guru devotee. Everyone is a guru in one way or the other. Guru does not just refer to sannyas guru or diksha guru, etc. Everyone is a teacher in some way or the other. If you share the book with someone, you help him to become Krishna conscious. You share prasad with someone, you help him to become closer to God. So you are his or her teacher in some way or other. And everyone should be, to the best of one's capacity. Sharing books, by sharing holy name, by inviting others, take Krishna prasad. There are so many ways, getting them closer to the temple, closer to the deities, closer to anything in Krishna consciousness is basically reducing the burden of earth. So Lord Brahma said, all of you become their children in the Yadu dynasty, because the Lord is going to come there very soon. So let's see what happens further. Yes, Aparna Mataji, want to read? Akshay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Vasudeva Grihesa Shad Bhagavan Purushapara Janishyate Tat Priyartam Shambhavantu Surashtirya. Translation and purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Śrī Krishna, who has full potency, would personally appear as the son of Vasudeva. Therefore, all the wives of the demigods also appear in order to satisfy. In Bhagavad Gita 4.9, the Lord says, Tvakva deham punarjanma naitimam eti. After giving up the material body, the devotee of the Lord returns home back to Godhead. This means that the devotee is first transformed to the particular universe where the Lord is at that time staying to exhibit his pastimes. There are innumerable universes, and the Lord is appearing in one of these universes at every moment. Therefore, his pastimes are called Nityaṁ and Leela. Eternal pastimes. The Lord's appearance as a child in the house of Devaki took place continuously in one universe after another. Therefore, can you scroll down? Therefore, the devotee is first transferred to the particular universe where the pastimes of the Lord occur. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, even if a devotee does not complete the course of devotional service, he enjoys the happiness of the heavenly planets where the most pious people dwell, and then takes birth in the house of Suchi or Shriman, a pious Brahmana or a wealthy Vaishya. Suchinam Srimata Geha Yoga Brito Vijate. Thus, a pure devotee, even if unable to execute devotional service completely, is transferred to the upper planetary system where pious people reside. From there, if his devotional service is complete, such a devotee is transferred to the place where the Lord's pastimes are going on. Herein it is said, Shambhavantu Shura Street. The women of the heavenly planets were thus ordered to appear in the Yadu dynasty in Vrindavan to enrich the pastimes of Lord Krishna. These Shuraskriti, when further trained to live with Krishna, would be transferred to the original Goloka Vrindavan during the Lord's pastimes within the world. The Shuraskriti were to appear in different ways in different families to give pleasure to the Lord. Just as they were be fully trained before going to the eternal Goloka Vrindavan with the associates of Lord Krishna, either Dwarkapuri, Mathurapuri or Vrindavan, they would certainly remain home back to Godhead. Among the Shuraskriti, the women of the heavenly planets, there are many devotees, such as the mother of the Upendra incarnation of Krishna. It was such devoted women who were called for in this connection. Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji.
Well, thank you, Raksha Prabhu. What did you learn in this one?
Yeah, when Brahma went to the milk ocean for Lord Krishna's to come to earth, then Lord Krishna was asked for the demigods and the wives to come over there, when he came in the Yadu dynasty, so they could kind of be brother sisters, kind of like that.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. So a lot of interesting details are mentioned here. Actually, twice Prabhupada is mentioning. The devotee is first transferred to a particular universe where the Lord is exhibiting his pastimes. And again, the devotee is transferred to a particular place where the Lord's purpose, same purport twice, pretty much Prabhupada is repeating. So basically, what I've heard from other senior Vaishnavas, and this verse is also sharing the same point, that there could be multiple destinations of a devotee based on how much seriously they have rendered bhakti and how much of that is complete and how much is incomplete. So Prabhupada is quoting here, Suchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashta Vijayate. So if a pure devotee is unable to fully execute devotional service, then transferred to Srimatam, wealthy family, Suchinam, Brahmana family. So the demigod, the Sura Stri, Sura means the demigod, Asura means the the demons. The Sura Stri also, in the previous verse, there was discussion about the Suras, that you must go and take birth in the Yadu family as children, grandchildren, etc. What about their wives? What about the wives of the Suras? All the wives of the demigods, Sambhavantu Surastriyaha, they should also take birth for the satisfaction of the Lord. So they were also born, or they would, that's what was the desire of the Lord. And what kind of Surastris were there? Anyone can give any example? Any example?
The wives at the Dwaraka.
You said Dwarka?
Like either at the Dwaraka, Mathura, Puri or Vrindavan with the association Lord Krishna.
No, we are referring to the Surastris. There are many devotees such as the mother of Upendra. Who is Upendra here?
Indra, Indra, Lord Indra, demigod.
Mother of Upendra.
It's Aditi, right, Prabhuji?
Vamanava.
It's referred to as in Vamana, because the Vamana avatar was the incarnation of Krishna. Who was the mother of Vamana?
Aditi. Aditi.
Aditi. Yes. Yes. So basically, they are also great devotees, right? Even Indra is also a great devotee. Yes, not in the purest of the like Prahlad, but he's certainly a devotee. Indrari vyakulam loke mridayanti yuge yuge, Krishna says in the Bhāgavatam. Namadi murti shukalani menatishti. So all these are great devotees in the upper planets, most of them. So the point here is that first they are transferred to a loka where they get trained, as Prabhupada is mentioning, where they get trained to live with the Supreme Lord. And then they are transferred to the original Goloka Vrindavan, as mentioned here. The Suras 3 to appear in different ways in the different families to give pleasure to the Lord, just so that they would be fully trained in before going to the eternal Vrindavan, eternal Goloka Vrindavan, back home, back to Godhead. Does that help? So any thoughts or additions? Yes, Aparna Mataji, you want to read?
Yes.
Yes, please. Text 24.
Hare Krishna. Vasudev Dev Kalata Nand Sahasra Vadana Swarataha Agreto Bhavati Devo Hare Priya Chikishraha. Translation. The foremost manifestation of Krishna is Sankarsana, who is known as Ananta, is the origin of all incarnation within this material world. Previous to the appearance of Lord Krishna, this original Sankarsana will appear as Baldeva, just to please the Supreme Lord Krishna in his transcendental pastimes. Purport. Hare Krishna. Shri Baldeva is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. He is equal in supremacy to the Supreme Godhead, yet wherever Krishna appears, Shri Baldeva appears as his brother, sometimes elder and sometimes younger. When Krishna appears, all his plenary expansions and other incarnations appear with him. This is elaborately explained in Caitanya-caritāmṛta. This time Baldeva would appear before Krishna as Krishna's elder brother. Hare Krishna, back to you.
Well, thank you so much for this wonderful verse. And it is so interesting that we are reading the same section in Śrī Caitanya-caritāmṛta as well. Adilila chapter 5 about Lord Balaram or Nityananda. And Prabhupada is referring here that this is elaborately explained, so referring to the same section which we are reading actually now, chapter 5 of Adilila. So Prabhupada is mentioning sometimes elder, sometimes younger. We all know elder is Baladeva. And who's the younger brother referring to here?
Lakshmana.
Yeah, Lakshmana. Nice.
Krishna.
Krishna, the younger brother.
Yes.
Yeah. Baladev's younger brother is Krishna, yes. But here it's referred, Sri Baladev appears as a brother, sometimes elder, sometimes younger. So sometimes elder means Nityananda Prabhu, Baladeva, sometimes younger as Lakshmana. So in Vrindavan, if you're doing parikrama, many devotees like, they keep chanting, Dauji ke bhaiya, Krishna Kanaya. Very sweetly they chant this, like while they're walking to keep themselves busy. Because Govardhan Parikrama, thousands of devotees, not thousands, millions of devotees do every month or every week. Actually, every day there are thousands and tens and thousands of devotees doing. The whole 21 kilometers of that Parikrama Marg is pretty much full of devotees at all times, 24/7. And I'm not exaggerating. 24/7, their devotees are doing parikrama. Some do in the morning, some afternoon, some evening, some during the night. It's always full of devotees. So yeah, this verse mentions about Lord Sankarsana or Ananta or Balarama, who is the first expansion, as we are discussing in chapter 5 of Adilila also. Okay, so when we go on Mondays, we'll discuss that in more details about Balarama. Any comments, additions? Anyone has any thoughts?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, not related to this one. So in this, when we hear about Lord Krishna and Baldeva, but we don't hear much about Sister Subhadra, right, Prabhuji? Or is it going to come in the maybe future chapters? Subhadra's birth, their pastimes in Vrindavan or Mathura.
Yes, Nandini Mataji wants to say something. Yes, Mataji, please.
Prabhu, Subhadra is only mentioned couple of times in the entire Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. It just mentioned that who was her mother. Definitely it's not mentioned how she was raised and stuff. That remains outside of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Prabhu, somehow.
Thank you. Is it Rohini Mataji is the mother Mataji?
One place it says that, another place it doesn't say that. So, but yeah, in one of the places it says that Rohini Mataji is her mother.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, any other?
There's the whole pastime of Subhadra kidnapping by Arjuna. That whole chapter is there, Prabhu. But not how she grew older and stuff. That's not there.
Yes. Ms. Purnamataji, you have raised your hand. Want to say something or add any comments?
No, sorry.
Yes. Anyone else has any other comments, questions, thoughts before we wrap up? The next is a bigger purport, so it will take more time. So we'll start it tomorrow. So we're not in a hurry. But any last comments, any additions, reflections anyone has? Okay, who knows the verse 10.1.16? Anyone can say without saying? Canto 10, chapter 1, text 16, about the glories of Krishna Katha, which we tried to remember yesterday. Vasudeva Katha. Anyone knows? Who wants to try? Kabir Prabhu, remember?
Okay, Prabhu, I can try. Vasudeva Katha Prashna Purusham Strin Punatihi Bhaktaram Prichakam Sotrim Tatpada Sholilam Jatha.
Anyone else wants to try? It's an important verse.
Sorry, Prabhuji, what's the text number, Prabhu? I totally missed this one.
Text 16, same chapter, chapter 1, text 16.
Sure, Prabhu. I'll try to get it tomorrow, Prabhu.
Nice, very nice. Vasudeva Katha Prashna, the questions pertaining to Krishna Katha, Vasudeva Katha, purifies three kinds of people. Purushams, three means three. Punati, he purifies. He, certainly, no doubt there. What are the three kinds of people? Vaktaram, those who speak. Prichakam, those who ask questions. And Shrotrams, those who hear. Shrotram, Shravanam. Now there's the last line is a metaphor. Tat pada salilam yatha, as the Ganga, the water coming from the lotus feet, tat pada salilam yatha. The same way how the Ganga purifies the three worlds, the Krishna Katha or questions pertaining to Krishna purify the three types of people. Yes, Kashish Mataji wants to try.
Hare Krishna was converted on all judges to Prabhupada, converted among devotees. Vaktaram
Vasudeva.
Vasudeva Katha Prashnam Purusham Skim Pumane Vaktaram Pratchakam Shotam Tatpada Salilam Yatha. Hare Krishna was
So, okay, maybe you can do a little bit of Sanskrit here. I don't know if all of you would appreciate that, but I like to. So what does word tatra mean? Anyone knows? Or tatha? Let's say tatha. Anyone?
Where?
that one.
Hmm?
Here, there.
Tatha, you are talking about what?
Like Yatha Raja Tata Praja, right? So
There.
Follow.
Good guesses, good close. Hmm. You have heard the word yatha. Okay? Yatha.
Jason.
Just say, I think Hindi is easy. Yatha Raja, Tatha Praja. Jaisa Raja, Vaisi Praja. Right? Like king, so is the kingdom. Right? So, Tatha, Yatha, and Katha. It's not the Katha, Krishna Katha, it's the Katha, Kaise.
Jason.
Same with Tatra. Tatra means there. Vaha. Yatra. Yatra means what? Any guesses? Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Tatra Yatra Partha Dhanurdhara. Right? The famous verse.
Here.
where there is Krishna, where?
Where? Yes. Where? So the first two, where there is Krishna, where there is Arjuna, Tatra Shri Vijayo, there is victory, right? And what will be Kutra is Kaha, is like, is it? I don't know how, right? So it's Kaha would be in, how to say it in English, Kutra, Yatra, Jaha. Are you able to follow? Is it making sense? Same here, Tasmin, here, Yasmin, and then Kasmin, right? Then Yasmin is just K, Tasmin, Uske, and Kasmin Kiske, right? Something like that. So these are all very linked. Yatra, Tatra, Kutra, Atra. Atra. The word Atra is also there, same way. If you want to link, Atra is Yaha. Atra Sarga Visargascha Sthanam Poshanam Utaya, and Asmin. So I think these words are commonly used in many, many verses, especially Yatra. Kaha Yah Shastra Vidim Utsrajya Jo. Kaha means who will give up? Something like that. These words are very common. Where, there, here, everywhere. Does it help or confuse further? Okay. Just thought this was coming to my mind. As I was remembering this verse, so I just thought to share if it is of any value to anyone. Again, the goal is not to become Sanskrit scholar. Of course, I'm not, but whatever little bit we can do to better understand these verses, better remember, certainly, why not? Whatever helps. Grantraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya evacha Vitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namo. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Happy